Hi everyone, Rachel from North Brisbane Psychologists here. Have you ever had to deal with somebody in your life who was narcissistic, and every time you tried to have a dialogue with them, it was just crazy making? You felt like you weren't being listened to. It always turned into drama or some sort of argument that was never going anywhere. So we've had a few inquiries lately to make a video about the grey rock method, or assertive indifference, for dealing with people who are low on empathy, narcissistic personalities. It could also be useful if you are dealing with somebody who's regularly drunk or high on drugs, and or any situation where you are just not going to get anywhere with this person. And sometimes breaking all contact is not possible, I know this. Sometimes these people are family members or your boss or some situation, or your ex, where you can't completely cut contact. So then how can you best deal with them? How can you use this grey rock method or assertive indifference? First of all, the reason it's called the grey rock method is because it's about embodying all the thrill and personality of a grey rock. You want to become boring to this person. You want them to lose interest in you. You want them to detach from you, and you want to disengage from and detach from them. That's the point. It's to protect yourself while staying in your integrity, so that you don't get hooked in and then say hurtful things and kind of play them at their own game, which is only going to leave you feeling worse. You know, of course, I'm a big proponent of expressing your feelings and your needs in communication. I think this is essential, but I do know that sometimes there are people who just don't have the skills, the empathy, the capacity to hear your feelings and needs, and yet somehow you still have to work with these people. So how do we use this grey rock method, assertive indifference? The first really important thing is to not argue, as I said, with this other person. Don't talk to them unless you absolutely need to. Resist the temptation to seek validation from them. They may have given you some validation in the past, but you know by now that their validation and acknowledgement is patchy and unpredictable and just going to hook you back in. So avoid seeking their unpredictable, unreliable, or perhaps completely absent validation. When you must talk to them, only stick to practical matters, mundane matters. If you have to make conversation, talk about the weather, just talk about the practical matters of, parenting the children or getting the work done at work. Keep it very formal, keep it very minimal. If they ask you questions, respond with very short, very uninspired answers. Just give them the bare facts, the bare minimum. Keep your tone very dull and very steady. Remember, you're not trying to get their validation, so you don't have to appear lovely or interesting or clever to these people. You don't want to do that, because then you're going to be roped back in. Avoid talking about yourself. This is related to what I just said. So you don't want to appear interesting or fascinating or like you're having an interesting life. Don't let them in on your personal life. Even small details, some people will use that as an entry point into hooking you back into their game. And also, you don't want to trigger envy in narcissistic personalities. If you make them jealous, if you trigger their envy and jealousy, that's also going to keep them, hooked and attached to you in this negative way. It's best to try and fade into the background as much as possible. So there's a blog post on this topic which I'll put in the comments below, and it gives a case study of Sean and Sonia. And Sean was trying to rope Sonia back in once they broke up and she got a new partner, and using this grey rock method of being polite, assertive, minimalistic, detached, giving very little away, staying very neutral, being as boring as a grey rock. This is a real case study. The names have been changed. This helped Sonia to move on with her life and become quite boring to Sean. And in the end, that's what she needed to do, and that's what worked. So if you have an experience using this method to deal with a low empathy, very difficult person in your life, let us know your story in the comments below, or if you have any questions, let me know. And till next time, bye for now.